So I'm actually really shocked at the difference right there of how like just the tone is just so much more like mid forward on the Chandler. Really shocking to me. It's almost like API in a sense. It's got that very mid forward aggressive, bright punch to that like kind of midsection. It's the same microphone in the same position. I'm using an XLR splitter, one mic going to the input on my Antelope, and then the other input is the Chandler Little Devil Pre and my 500 series rack. The only difference is the actual preamps. So that was really shocking to see that, and just wow, big difference there. So right now, I'm currently talking to you through the Antelope Discrete 4. This is the stock preamp. I use this pretty much for all my voiceover work. I very rarely use an external preamp unless I'm demoing one. But right now you hear me speaking through the Antelope and nothing else. And I'm going to switch over to the Little Devil in just a sec. And now I am talking to you on the Chandler Little Devil Pre. As I can hear already, there's a lot more kind of like natural saturation and compression kind of going on within the vocal. There's 3 knobs on the Chandler Little Devil Pre. The gain, which is basically the input gain. There's the output, which is the output gain. And then there's the bias/feedback knob. Each one of those significantly affects the sound. If I were to kind of crank the gain up here a little bit, you're going to hear a lot more. Wow, it's crazy. I didn't mean to clip that if I'm sorry. But yeah, you're going to get a lot more of that kind of like transformer sound, that really like punching your face. And you can kind of do the Neve thing where you turn the input down. Now it's really quiet. I'm not talking. But you could turn the output up. So now I have the output transformer really cranked, but the input transformer is really quiet, and vice versa. You could do that same thing. You could just turn the output down, turn the gain back up. So I get some pretty colored tones within my voice. It's trying to do this with one hand as I'm stretching. But yeah, so, you can get some pretty awesome tones. So right now I kind of turn the bias knob up. The bias feedback knob, it controls the negative feedback of the circuit essentially, and you can cause it to essentially soft clip so that there's just a ton of harmonic character, really just like in your face sound. This works really good for singing, screaming, lots and lots of color. I mean, like, you can really hear it in the voice. And if I go back to the Antelope, you can pretty much instantly hear that color is gone, that in your face, punching you really hard with that just gritty harmonic saturation is gone, and it just kind of retains that sort of clean, pristine tone. So this thing is definitely a color monster, especially on vocals. But yeah, like you've heard the guitars, I pretty much crank the bias knob. I never not crank the bias knob. I think it just adds so much more fullness and richness to the actual tone of the preamp itself and the characteristics that it's delivering. I think it just adds so much more flair and flavor to it that it just, I don't ever turn it off. That's just a personal preference, but yeah, I think it sounds great. But now I'm back on the Antelope, and you can really hear that difference. I'll switch one more time to the Little Devil so you can hear. And now we are back in that full, just saturated goodness of the Little Devil Pre. Lots of color, lots of harmonic saturation, just very up front and forward. From my experience using this thing, I've only tracked vocals with it a few times. It was my go-to for a little while as far as like heavy guitars went, but for the few times that I have tracked vocals through this thing, you have to do like almost no mixing after the fact. You record with it and it's pretty much good to go. A little bit of EQ, like a little bit of compression, but I mean, it really is just, it's great. Like you can just record with it and it's pretty much mix ready. It really just awesome in your face, tons of character, tons of tonality preamp for your 500 series. Like I said, this thing has a ton of color. It's basically a crayon box, like just lots and lots of just saturation and character. The tone control with the feedback and the bias knob there makes for a very in-your-face upfront mix. Like I said, you know, you don't even really have to do much to it. A little bit of EQ, maybe a slight bit of, you know, limiting compression just to kind of smooth things out here or there. But it's ready to pretty much just drop right into your mix. This thing is just very versatile, but it definitely favors that, like, almost, I don't want to say Neve color, but very, very colorful, like almost 1073 sound. Just transformer goodness, just makes everything just sound so full and fat and thick. And, you know, obviously with Chandler, that's pretty much what they're known for, is that full, fat, thick transformer sound. I love their preamps. Never been disappointed with anything Chandler's ever put out. You know, I have got the Germanium and the TG2, I believe, both of which are awesome. I love them. I use them constantly. And this guy is no doubt. It does take a little bit to play with. You do have to play with it until you find the sound that you like. But once you do dial in and find a sound that you like, you are good to go. I believe currently the cost of this is around $1,000, just slightly under. I think $955 is what Sweetwater has it at. It is a little bit on the expensive side, but you are getting a whole lot of just incredible preamp for that cost. Lots of character, lots of in-your-face sound, and you can use this thing on everything. I think it sounds amazing on guitars, amazing on bass, amazing on vocals. Get a pair of them, and you can saturate the ever-living hell out of a drum room. Really just makes for a just colorful palette and just versatile piece of gear. Really, you can use it on a ton of things. And if you're looking for the color thing, I think the Little Devil definitely covers that ground. If you found this video at all helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let that YouTube algorithm get to work. Really appreciate it. And as always, thanks again for watching.